Hello, you're watching Avenue X. It's obvious in the thumbnail, and also I'm dressed in qipao, so today we're gonna talk about the just finished Chinese web drama, 这一秒过火, Overdo. Last Thursday, when I did my live stream, I spent quite a bit of time, a chunk of that live stream, ranting about this drama. So technically I don't have to do another video, but then I just think this drama deserves a video on its own so that it can be watched later as one video instead of mingled with other things. As it is such a peculiar drama, it is truly a product of its time. It's definitely a case study that's worth being remembered for a long time to come. If anybody does any kind of cultural studies of Chinese Dramaland, how it's evolved over the last 2 decades, this one will be a milestone. So this is my video to give it its due respect. 33 episodes drama that's joint produced by iQIYI and Tencent. It was shot from the end of June to the end of September in 2025. It has quite a few really interesting aspects. Its original author is the person who wrote the novel that many years ago created another really popular 民国 love story, 来不及说我爱你. And actually, the main characters in our current drama have some very loose connection to that drama's character. Technically, all the male leads in the drama, like the sons of the Murong family, are actually sons of Zhong Hanliang's character. But these two dramas basically only picked the names and the family as the background staying the same, whereas what exactly happens, for example, if you watched 来不及说我爱你, you know it didn't end the way that this drama starts. But it's by the same author. So it's adapted from that, and it's exactly 16 years later, because that drama was airing back in 2010, and now it's 2026. Time flies. I will confess, 来不及说我爱你 is one of my favorite 民国 setting romantic dramas, to the point that for years, my phone's ringtone or alarm clock was actually the pocket watch music from the drama. This drama is same author and similar family background story, yet 16 years later, we're in a completely different Dramaland. And if you do comparative study of these two dramas, you can write a dissertation on it. It just reflects so much of the changes that has happened in the last decade and a half. So that's one point that's interesting about this project. Second, it is directed by Li Yi. This is the director who did the drama that actually got quite a bit popular among international audiences. 媚者无疆, Bloody Romance, led by Li Yitong and Xu Chuxiao. And if you compare these two dramas, you wouldn't really say there's any kind of stylistic similarity. This drama currently is so much of a reflection of the anxieties of long drama world of Chinese drama production, particularly regarding the traffic, the idol kind of end of things, because of the challenge that has come in the last 3 years from short dramas, eating away, in their opinion, eating away their long drama market. They become desperate and they try to copy whatever is successful from short dramas, directly transplant that into long drama and thinking it would just work automatically. And we have this drama as basically the experiment that you can say failed, but in a way also succeeded, like we can talk about that. Then this drama is actually written by 3 joint writers who basically haven't done anything before this, pretty much. This is like their first work that they've put together. I have a strong feeling that it's specifically tailored to the purpose of let's do a very short drama-ish, long drama, filled with plot points of short dramas, as many as we can, as intense as we can, and let's see if it works. So these people are almost hired specifically to do this. So I wouldn't put too much on the writers because I have the feeling that this is more like a platform-driven from iQIYI, from Tencent, their desperate attempt to save themselves from losing market share to short dramas. So that's another aspect of his production. And at the end of it, obviously you have to say, it casts 2 popular traffic actors, Wang Churan and Zhang Linghe, and they're both known for being pretty. So with all that as background information, let's look at this very milestone drama, Overdo, 这一秒过火. Couple of really interesting things that has happened during its, let's say, 20 days, less than 20 days online. When it goes live on July the 19th, I think, it broke the record of how much advertisement money it managed to pull ad you see on Tencent and iQIYI in the middle that this drama has collected. Broke the record of all 民国 setting dramas in Chinese Dramaland history. It was about 120 million RMB. Disproportionately to that, is the criticism it receives instead of praises. Upon its first day of airing, it immediately got called out for its very poorly made opening credit sequence that was completely AI generated. The wave of criticism was so strong that they immediately went to the back end and re-edited opening sequence. So 1 or 2 days after that, when they start to air new episodes, they changed everything. They swapped out the opening title to the actual shots of the actors or whatever cutaway shots that they have in the drama. As the drama airs, instantly there's a wave of criticism videos that's been made on internet about basically this is a short drama version, long drama, and it is basically giving up on the battleground of long drama and completely surrender to the logic of the short dramas, and they're not really the same breed of media, and you really cannot compare them across the board. And even for people who consume short dramas, they consume it for specific reasons that short dramas works for them. If they go to long dramas, they're not necessarily wanting to see a short drama version of a long drama, and seemingly this drama doesn't understand that. Therefore, it becomes this weird hybrid of it is a long drama, 45 minutes, whatever, and per episode, but then everything about it looks like a short vertical drama. And the crazy thing about this drama is, while it was airing, it was one of the hottest dramas on Chinese internet. A lot of people are watching it. Whether they're watching it because they want to watch it, or whether they're just getting in to see how ridiculous it gets, maybe, who knows, or whether they're just in for like looking at pretty people, it still gets quite a good rating in terms of how many people opened the drama while it was running. So for the advertisement, department, and for all the brands, they're pretty happy because it got to the audiences. So this is an odd situation where a drama is not recognized for its value as a drama itself, as a good production. It is actually recognized for its being ridiculous. So poorly made in some way, but so crazily made in another way that it actually attracts attention. And it's the situation where even bad publicity is good publicity because it's better than not having any publicity. Interestingly, for the lead, Zhang Linghe, right? This is his second Got Somewhere hot drama this year that still got very, very controversial. It just seems he cannot get out of this weird luck of you definitely get noticed, but probably not for the best reason. But probably it's better than not get noticed at all in today's atmosphere and circumstances of Chinese Dramaland. I have a feeling that this drama will be mentioned by a lot of people in the future. If they look back on the history of Chinese dramas, if they do any type of cultural study, it will be a reference for a long time to come. So for that purpose, this drama kind of is unique and important. So this drama is led by Zhang Linghe and Wang Chuyan, and then you would say probably the next couple of leads will be Xu Zhenxuan, who plays a brother to Zhang Linghe's character, and then Fu Xinbo, although he is not in the whole drama, he kind of exits at 2/3 of the way. It's set in a very vague Mingguo, where exactly the time is you're not sure, because Japanese presence is in the drama, but it's not like a full-on invasion and full-on declared war yet. So that will be before sort of the mid of 1930s. Yet, because it's not being specific in any way, in terms of where they are, the cities, it's just called a southern city. It doesn't even have a clear name. You cannot hear it from accent from people where exactly it's located. It snows, but it doesn't look fully like a northern city either. So it's kind of a imaginary space city set in an imaginary Mingguo that is vaguely kind of montaged by people's impression, but it's not specific. If I have to put it in one word, I would call it unsubstantial. It's a very unsubstantial drama. There's no real body, there's no real characters, there's no real events. Like nothing is really touching you, meaning anything to you. And I doubt like in years' time, you're gonna even remember what this thing is about. It's just gonna be a blurry of colorful pictures of montage that doesn't link together and mean anything. Again, the direct comparison you can draw is from its sister drama that happened 16 years ago, led by Zhong Hanliang and Li Xiaoran, which is basically the previous generation of characters compared to this generation of characters in the story. Even till today, I can still remember some of the great scenes from the drama. I still remember Mu Rongpeilin and Yin Jingwan and these characters and sort of the really painful romantic relationship and the entanglement and the things that make you happy, make you cry, make you feel for the characters. Easy to remember, always well remembered. A couple of scenes I close my eyes, I can see the whole sequence replay in my head even till now, which is 16 years later. And I can guarantee you, in 1 month's time, anything I've watched in Overdo, I will not be able to recall any of the sequences. That is the difference between Back then, long dramas are just long dramas. Now, they are a mixed cut of so-called highlight moments that they believe will give strong impression to the audiences. But they forgot the part where stories needs to earn everything. All the plot points, all the important peak time needs to have value, to have contrast. All the reasons that something has a strong effect on audiences needs to be laid like groundwork. You have to work step by step to the point where it's earned. Therefore, audiences remembers, they believe in your setup, and therefore the release of that highlight moment becomes meaningful. If you're constantly just throwing one moment after another moment that are all highlights to people, there's no process, no connective tissue of how it gets arrived at point, then people very quickly get inundated, and the more stimuli they give them, the less they work. And that's what this drama feels like to me. So it's gonna be very hard for me to say what I like about this drama. I honestly cannot like anything about this drama. You like pretty people, then there are a couple of like really nice shots of every people in every episode, if you want to put it that way. They look pretty, but you know, it's kind of a fake pretty because there's so much skin smoothing, there's a lot of help from the post-production grading. People's skin color, tone, texture just doesn't look like normal humans. It's being so beautified with all the filter. While it's pretty, you at the same time know it's not real, because that fakeness, that not being realness is the same between this type of live action dramas that got so post-production treated and animation that are completely generated by computers. If I have to say another good thing that may happen to this drama is if you completely give up on thinking about logic and how things needs to have groundwork then happen. If you cut all those parts off, just pick out, isolate a couple of scenes in this drama for a couple of actors, maybe here and there, they did a good job of performing that moment. But the problem is those moments don't connect. And if you look at the drama as a through line, none of those moments are earned. So technically they don't have any weight on me as an audience. This is a loud music drama that every moment is its peak time. Therefore it becomes noise. And it's not helped by this drama constantly have very loud, very annoying BGM all the time. Every time there's kind of clearly there's a next line is gonna be like the angry line from the character, or next move is gonna be he suddenly stands up from the chair and start to shout. They start to throw that music out. I mean, stop doing that. It's almost like the creators are doing that behind their editing screen, and it's okay, this is the moment we need to cue the audiences. We're like dogs being trained, and it's very, very annoying. Therefore, really, what can I say is good about it? There are pretty people in it, but they don't even look like the Minguo time they are supposed to be in, because although people are pretty, whether it's the clothing style, the actual cutting of the qipao, that's very wrong for the period for Wang Chuyan. She looks great, but she doesn't look like she belongs to the 1930s. And the hairstyle, the hair color, even the texture of the hair, how it gets permed, the makeup style, the set looks extremely fake and built up. That doesn't look like a real set. Again, it's not location specific. You don't know whether it's in south, west, north, east, which part of China. So it almost becomes impossible for me to point list what's good or what's bad about it. The whole thing is a mess. And this is what this drama feels like. It's pretty in some shots, but it's ridiculous in most of its content. It is too heightened all the time, therefore you feel no stimuli actually works on you, and it just adds every imaginable, weird, coincidental, over-the-top main character story into one. For both female lead, male second, male third, whoever. Everybody has over-the-top storyline. You're gonna have to have the weirdest luck to collect a group of people like that and make them smash together and having a romantic relationship where everyone has impossible childhood, impossible bad luck and encounters. This drama is truly, as its title suggests, it's overdue. So I kind of mixed all the points up together, but then if I have to reiterate, number one, the stories and the characters of this drama are very unsubstantial. They don't feel like specific real person. They each feels like a archetypical icon of a particular type of characters, and the writers try to squeeze in every super over-the-top thing onto them. Their character setup, their childhood background, what they've suffered. It tries to do all the extreme versions of everything. We want it to be sweet, but we want it to be salty. We want it to be spicy, we want it to be sour, all at extreme, all add together, everything. It gets to the point where you no longer can take the story seriously, and most of the time you're just watching for next ridiculous things to happen to laugh at it. To laugh at how forced the plot and the characters are putting the situation to have the things happening. For example, one of the worst thing that the male lead is suffering is this bad relationship he has with both the adopted father family and also his real family. And mostly the real family problem comes from the mother, who blame him for the death of his father, which actually does not make sense. She blames him not being able to speak out something clearly and sending the right message that prevent the death of the father. But the fact is, at the time he was a kid and he got poisoned by opium, he was pretty much delusional and physically cannot even stand up and talk properly. He just remembers vaguely that he needs to say something, but he couldn't put things together. Therefore, the mother blamed him for the rest of like 19 years of the story, which like in reality, if that ever actually happened to people, it would never got to the point. Because I cannot imagine in the next 19 years there would not be a 15 minutes where you can actually sit down and let the mother know what exactly happened. You were actually poisoned and thrown into a river and got out of the river, got saved by people, and you're still poisoned and you barely found your way home and you are trying to deliver a message when your brain is being fried by like drugs, okay? And you're like, what, 8 years old? How hard is it to relay that information fully and correctly to your biological mother to know you've done your best, but this just happened? What can you do? It's really funny that the drama just keeps all the details like till the very like 30 episode, like by the time like episode 30 or 31, like that's when you hear the full story. Before that, it's all just like a little bit information here and there, and seems everybody just willfully ignore that could be related years ago, so that all the shit that happens in this family probably doesn't need to go down that route. So things like that in this drama are intentionally basically being manipulated by the writers to say, we just don't want it to happen, therefore it doesn't happen. It needs to happen in this way so we can have this conflict towards the end, whatever. And it just makes it so hard sell. And pretty much this is what this drama feels like. Everything that happens doesn't actually need to happen. If any reasonable things happen in the logic chain of how it got there, it would have stopped it from happening. But hey, we cannot have that. We have to have this over-the-top plot, and we have to ignore logic because people just want to be stimulated every second. At least that's what the writer believes, because they believe that's why short drama works, and that's why people want long dramas to be like that too. It's really funny why people would think that way. There are people who play online MMO every day at the same time who plays AAA game on a console. There are two types of games. Doesn't mean if I pick one, I have to reject the other. I can do both, and I know what I'm in for both, and they're specifically different things. So for a person who likes to watch long drama, they can also like watching short drama, but they do it for different reasons, and they use it under very different circumstances. Somehow, these long drama makers now think that everybody just wants short drama. They just want a short drama version of long drama. Like, who gave them that genius idea? Then, in its taste of actually doing storytelling, it's hard to say if it's trying to catch up or whether it's too outdated. It's existing in this imaginary space of what they presume the audiences will like, unfortunately in the process making it look extremely tasteless and almost laughable. Whether it's in the extreme tight cutting of Wang Churen's dress, whether it is to do all those ridiculous uniform that looks like they're on a stage play instead of in a real world, whether it is in the editing style of the jump cuts while you're saying each line out that is so stupid and bad and terrible looking. Whether it's to do with there are a lot of very close-up shots, pretty much only like from the collarbone to the top of the head, that tight framing of the leading actors with very blurred background, very sort of like Vaseline softened light, and later post-production smoothing and whitening of the skin. I know aesthetic taste of this drama is overdone, overdue, very overdid, and over the top. Everything is very, very over. Or it is actually in the narrative, how they string the story together, in the editing paces of things, how they ignore all the process of how things happen. And because the priority of the story is the romantic relationship, is basically the so-called torturing relationship between the two leads, how they basically owe each other constantly and how they become each other's pinpoint and it just never stops. Therefore, everything else is happening for that purpose. And even the logic of physical world is there to serve them. Therefore, you have that weird parachuting out of the plane, crashing plane sequence that is like groundbreaking for Chinese idol Dramaland in terms of how ridiculous and funny and not making any logical sense. Like that whole sequence, everybody, what they're doing, what they're saying, how it ever even happened could not happen on our planet, but it happens. Like two people are flying in the air and their plane is about to crash, yet all they care about is arguing about their love affair and who is doing what to whom. And the girl somehow just shot herself out of the plane, like out of nowhere. And there was only one parachute and somehow they both landed fine because she was holding on to him. It's like the physics does not exist in this world. The fact that this plane is super expensive and they just flew it for the first time and they crashed it. And it's like their family money, that bought it. It's like open ceremony of this like pilot school. And none of the things make sense, right? Whether people choose to do something or how it's done and how physics works in this whole world is just a mess. So basically the narrative, the plot, the visual, the taste, the production end of things, everything is a mess. It is, at the end of the day, I think you can say it is done because the drama makers of this drama, they are desperate. They don't really want to sit down and figure out what's really wrong. They just want to get quick fixes. They're desperate, they're grabbing on things, and they think if we can just copy what is successful about another form of media, then we're going to be fine. Which is very confusing because it's not hard, it's not rocket science to understand why great long dramas work and why they're great long dramas. They're not short dramas. And short dramas are, in many ways, not necessarily the traditional type of narrative on screen. Although they're all visual media of storytelling, they're not really movies or televisions that has built up its language and its narrative framework over 100 years. It is more like advertisement. It is, we have to grab people's attention in the first 3 seconds. Because advertisements are like 15 seconds per ad and it has to work. So you have to figure out how you can get to people in the first instance. And short dramas start from that logic of how I can capture people so that they can stay and just watch 1 minute and get it done. For it makes sense to not build up things slowly, to not introduce characters, to give you very recognizable quick symbols. Oh, that is that type of character. That is that type of character. They're together. We're looking at this story in the first 3 seconds. We'll understand it. It works because it is not designed as a long drama. It works is because it's designed for broken pieces of time for people who are going to toilet and loo visits and they just need 3 minutes of like kill time. And it doesn't apply to long dramas. If anybody is clicking open a long drama episode, they're not looking for that 3 minute, quickly get a fix and then go back to my work kind of consumption of media. I don't know why people can mix that up together and thinking just because they all require actors, cameras, therefore it's the same thing. It's not the same thing. So we have this weird drama where it's done with every element of a long drama in terms of crew, in terms of investment, how it's shot, but then it's almost trying to be a short drama. And yes, it did got attention. Apart from that, the drama itself is a complete embarrassment of Dramaland of 2026. Also, I think the actors, whatever like big publicity they get from this drama, it's not necessarily going to contribute to the future of their career development. And if you're saying you're just in the industry for the money, for the temporary fame and being the top, okay, maybe it's still worth it. But I just feel no matter how rich these actors will get from the pays they get or how much they can benefit from the fame they get, they are still real world humans. They still have exactly 24 hours a day. If the industry just keeps doing this type of work and then in their golden years, right, they keep doing works that has this quality and looks like this, I wonder in 20, 30 years time when they're older and they look back, right, in terms of like my life has produced meaningful things and those 3 months I've spent in my life making a drama I will never get back. Those 3 months produced this thing. At the end of the day, if your bank account money, whether you have 1 0 or 2 0 less is not going to make a difference to your actual life at that point, then everything you could be thinking about is meaning, is what I've done, the good work or the bad work I've left in my lifetime. And I think ultimately, no matter how people want to joke about it and say they only care about money, at the end of the day, deep in everyone's heart, we're meaning-seeking animals. Humans need meaning. For an actor, their characters, the works they've done, are the meanings of the years and time they've put in that they will never get back. It's just really sad if you're successful in some way and rich in some way. Many years later, you look back in your youth when you look the prettiest and everything seems to be the best, and then they're all typed down in that digital form and in those kind of like nobody can take it seriously work. It feels like a huge pity. I did watch like some interviews of the actors of the drama, and the thing is, you don't know whether they say it when they really mean it, or it's just because this is the only thing they can say. For example, they would say, I like this script, I picked the script because the story is very concise, it happens very quickly, there's a lot of things ongoing, we don't waste time. And somehow that's by default the right thing. Like, why? Why is that equivalent to, therefore it's a good script? First is, you don't know if they really think that, or if it's just they have to say it this way, because what else can you say about this type of drama? If they genuinely believe in that, then we have a huge problem, because that means the people who work in this profession really don't have a clue about what makes a story good. So this is a very weird drama that is so much so a product of its time. It has a sister stuff that happened more than 15 years ago that serves as a stark comparison to what has happened in Chinese Dramaland in the last 15 years in terms of its direction, the market, what kind of actors are working in the industry, what kind of storytellers are controlling it, what kind of money is behind the whole thing, and blink of an eye. A kid would not have even reached adulthood. Yet so much change on very essential level has happened to storytelling, in Dramaland particularly, that you watch them at the same time and they're almost similar in visual quality. You can say current one has 4K, it's slightly even better than that, but it's not so different. Yet you can watch them side by side and just feel this happened within 16 years. Really? How? How could it be so different? I am happy to use the pocket watch music for my alarm clock again, but I will never want to hear even one piece of music from Overdo in the future. Sometimes I still think back on Mu Rongpei, Lin An, Yin Jingwen, and the performances of these two actors. And I will never savor any of the moment of the acting in Overdo. In a way, I'd say my criticism and my review on this drama is just as messy, as unorganized, as everywhere as the drama. It is a chaotic mess of colors and sound and noise. I miss the days when Zhong Hanliang and Li Xiaoran really moved me in its last generation, 16 years ago drama. And I feel very sad that it just doesn't have a ground to exist now. Maybe one day in the future we can get that back, but I don't know how old I would be by that point. Usually when something gets to the worst, it starts to pick up. But by the time it picks up, it might be too late. And maybe one day I'll realize it's just totally not worth my time and stop doing any reviews on Chinese dramas because I don't want to waste my own time and everyone else's time. Or maybe it's going to become so funny and such a laughingstock industry in every sense that then it becomes funny and we can actually go and have fun with how bad it is for its last bit of value of entertainment. That is my messy review on the drama Overdo, 这一秒过火. It definitely makes me 上火 when I was watching it. It is a symbol of Chinese Dramaland is the industry is 这一秒熄火. Meaning engine's dead, the fire is lost. So the best thing about this drama is its title. It's the best title drama in years of Chinese drama in history because it's such a self-reference genius. Like maybe the writers were prophets. That should be the end of this video. Thank you for watching Avenue X. Thank you for still staying with my channel and staying with the ridiculous Chinese drama right now. I'll see you in my next video. Meanwhile, live long and happy drama watching. Why would you be happy? Yeah, maybe happiness is totally just dependent upon how you look at things from what angle, right? So you can decide this is basically comedy, and then maybe that will make you happy.